Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pete and Andy's podcast. Pete, we are calling this a podcast, right?
It's a
Have we
podcast.
actually? Okay, it's actually a podcast. So I'm Andy, and that's Pete. I actually don't know what side Pete's on, but whatever. So Pete, how are you?
Yeah, quite well. I'm excited to be talking about skiing with you on the internet.
Yeah, that is a great point because really, the inspiration for this, if we're being totally honest, was like, hey, bro, I kind of want to talk about skiing. And you were like, yeah, bro, I want to talk about skiing too. And we were like, we could get on a phone call and we're like, or we could just do a podcast. So that's kind of where, ironically, we kind of got to this decision, which I think is, well, weird, but also hilarious.
Yeah, I think it's great. And I think tons and tons of people are going to tune in to watch this because I know there's so many people out there that are wildly interested into the ins and outs of competitive free skiing. Just like
Yeah. Literally, I'm turning away at the door already. Well, so that kind of is my first question because, Pete, I don't know if you're aware, but we just had a China World Cup halfpipe. And it was a contest and things happened. One of those things that happened is Nick Goepper won. Okay, so I'm messing up my whole lead, but so my question to you is what was the biggest thing that happened at the China World Cup? What's the biggest storyline? That Nick Goepper won, that Alex Ferreira lost, or that David Wise got his first podium since the Reagan administration?
Yes, all valid and big things that happened there at that event. I originally thought oh boy, Alex Ferreira losing after his sweep of the season last year. That's big news. It's not. He was in Cardrona earlier this year, and he was in what I call the Canadian sandwich. Brendan McKay in first, Alex Ferreira in second, Andrew Longino in third. So here we go. Right. Then we go off to China. And he's in the American sandwich.
The Canadian sandwich really reminds me of a Canadian tuxedo, and I'm never not going to think of that now when I see Brendan McKay, and I'm not sure he appreciates that, but yeah, that's where we are. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, so the news of him being in second place and now an American sandwich in,
that's fair.
The World Cup in China. That's like old news, yeah. So I give it to Goepper. Would be like my news of that one is like, dude, you put in all this training. Does he really have it? And yeah, he had it there. So big news.
You're giving it to the newcomer over the two legends, huh? Which is funny, Nick Goepper being a newcomer because I think he's probably as old as you and me put together, but
yeah. He's no newcomer, but I guess to this discipline, very much a newcomer. And
very much.
Thumbs up for me,
All right. Well, so what I think, let me first say that I do think that Nick Goepper deserved to win. I think that, the kid can ski a half pipe, which I think is wild, being that he's been doing it for 2 years. But his final hit specifically, it's creative, it's difficult. It looks cool. It is cool. I really dig how Goepper is skiing. I will 1,000% give it to him. However, I think, for me, the biggest storyline is Alex Ferreira losing. Because, as you said, perfect season last year. And now, after Cardrona, this is the second place that he's had in a row. And Alex is just too competitive to put up with that. And I feel like probably the best thing for him was not winning because I feel like it's going to make him hungry. It's going to make him a little angry, and it's going to make him, come into this ski season, which I think has Olympic qualifiers, right? I don't know how it works anymore, but I'm pretty sure there's Olympic qualifying events in the season. And so I think come Copper, he's won at Copper, I think the last couple years. Coming into X Games, I think he's going to be firing. And I think he's going to be firing because he's fired up. Fire me up. From good getting luck. Twice.
That was a good
getting second twice in a row.
And you're right, dude. He loves competing in Colorado, right?
Yeah, and he's the only person. So,
he always crushes at Copper. And yeah, I would say if I had just been in two sandwich situations in two different countries, I would be ready to be back on top as well.
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't like sandwiches. I love him, but he's a crazy guy. So my next question for you, Pete, is can anyone beat Eileen Gu?
Currently, no.
What? Okay. It's not even possible, huh? It's just the event is over before it starts.
Yes and no. Any given day, anything can happen. But the way that she is skiing right now, the composition of her runs, I would say currently, right now, no, she's at the top of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I think in order for her to lose, she's going to have to fall, which is probably impossible in a 3-run final. But yeah, I think as we get closer, to Milan, the Olympics, I think there will be people that step up and do, get closer to her. But I agree with you, actually. I think she's going to win in copper. Minus an injury or something like that. I'm ready to write it in. I also think she's going to win. I think, the competition will catch up, and I think that's good for her. I think it's good for skiing, but I do think she's going to win. And so, Pete, is there anything else that you want to say? I feel like we shortchanged the women's event a little bit because I will say I think Svea skied great. I think her alley-oop flat 5 is rad. I think her 10 at the bottom is sick, and I'm a big fan of where Svea Irving has gotten. Like, she kind of reminds me of Britta when she skis.
Yeah, I definitely see that bit of Britta in there, 100%. Also, her film project that she did from this last year, amazing as well. Cool. Yeah, very I'm not, cool. And I think I was too much like, it's Eileen, it's nobody else. I glossed over what the rest of the women's field. That's not how I feel. And I do think that as we keep getting closer to Milan, closer to, selection events and stuff like that, she's going to have to watch her back. There's a bunch of good skiers in that field that are gunning for it.
I agree. But so this is what I was going to bring up. In trying to do a little bit of research for this, right? Like, believe it or not, Pete, I'm not necessarily on top of what's happening in skiing, like I used to be. Obviously, I was the top, but now not necessarily there, right? So I've been navigating the website that is FIS Ski and trying to look up some results, see what cup standings are. And Pete, I'm going to be honest with you. It's not a good experience. So in order to just look up a results of an event, say, right? Like, you get on the website and you need to navigate through collegiate rankings and NORAMs and stuff I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
In order to filter down into World Cups, which is its own weird language to get there. And then once you find the event, if you want to actually look at the results, not just who was first, second, third, but the results sheet to see what happened at the event, you need to download a PDF onto your phone and then open the PDF to look through the results. Now, Pete, I loved the 90s, okay? I am a huge fan of the 90s, right? Music, it was my childhood, it was great. But there's a reason why we kind of have moved on from that technology. Why hasn't FIS?
100%. I got on too. I'm digging around, and it is one of the most antiquated websites that's out there. And my big question with it is where does all the FIS Alpine money go to? Because it's not going to their platform. It's not going on their website.
It's not going to the fan experience.
To watch a World Cup event that's not in our country. And I'll be honest, even the ones that are in our country are hard to watch. And every year it's changing. Oh, it's on Peacock, and now you got to go to this or that or the other.
Is it on Peacock now? I feel it would be good if it was on Peacock because
I think it was last year, but it might not be this year.
I don't think it is. But I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that it is.
I hope so too, but I think the whole thing is.
Could you imagine, right? I want to see what happened in the Red Sox game last night. The Red Sox didn't play last night, but just roll with me here. And in order for me to see the line score of the Red Sox game, I had to go on to the MLB website, and then I had to sort through all the minor league baseball games and college games and everything, and then download a PDF in order to get the line score to a baseball game. I don't know. It boggles the mind, Pete.
I think that's a decent comparison because what we're talking about here is at the World Cup level, this is the upper echelon of the sport. So why is it so hard to find? And also, why is it hard to watch? This stuff should be out there. Everybody should be able to join in and watch it. There'd be more fans, more supporters. But that's a FIS conversation. And as much as like we love talking about competitive skiing, I do not want to talk about FIS because I'll go on forever. I've got a lot of crap.
You're right. We might be able to find some other things wrong with FIS, so let's just stop it there.
Maybe a couple.
We also had World Cups in Stubai, China, Big Air, Cardrona. Do you want to touch anything on that?
I mean, we could wrap it up real quick. The Stubai slope style is just classic fashion. It's great for 3 weeks. It's the most beautiful weather and the best jumps. And an event comes around and it's negative 1 million degrees, and they go straight to finals and try to push everybody through in like an hour. So, anyways, congrats to Colby because he won that. But
congrats, Colby.
Yeah, we're moving on. We had a couple big airs in there too. And the only thing that really stands out to me is you had Tormod Frosted from Norway and also Dylan DeChamps who were on the podium, both in China and in Chur in Switzerland. So I'm sure I didn't say that right either. But some stuff going on there.
Cardrona was weather day. Just like Stubai. I think it was raining and foggy. And Eileen won. Congrats, Eileen. Who won for the dudes?
Do not know.
It wasn't Alex. Well, Wilbur won. Congratulations.
Yeah.
We're supposed to know. I think it was Brendan McKay. I want to say Brendan McKay won. So clearly the research that I did on the FIS website wasn't all that great. But, just know that I tried.
I found it in my notes as Brendan McKay. You were 100% right. Your research is correct.
I still got it. Yeah.
Congratulations. But those are all in the past now because we didn't start this on time. So we're on to Copper now.
Yeah. I was just going to say, speaking of the past and the future, what about Copper, Pete? So, I feel... Okay, and so this isn't just FIS, and I swear I'm not going to complain this whole time, but I'm trying to look up who's on the U.S. ski team, you know what I mean? Because I'm just like, who's the guy, you know what I mean? Like, who do I need to look for? Who are the new people that are, have made the transition to the big team, and I couldn't find anyone that was, actually been named to the team this year.
That's interesting because I think it happened, and I assume you're talking about like the half pipe team. So really, you could go to
either of them
team or the year before, because I think for half pipe especially, it's a copy paste. Like the average age of the athletes on the half pipe team for the U.S.
just gets 1 year older every year.
It's 1 year older every time. And
that is completely false. I feel attacked right now.
I am not. This is what I wanted to say: is I'm not talking crap. I love it.
You like old people.
Yeah, I am here for it. I love it. But when you're asking about like where are the names posted, don't worry about it. You know everybody, Andy. Still. So
all right, that's fair.
Please don't stress about that.
I appreciate that. Well, so all right, we. I don't feel like we necessarily need to name, like who the podium is going to be. We're going to say that for a little bit later. But like, who do you think? Who are some horses to watch going into Copper?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that if you look to the event we had in China, you look at Cardrona, there's a few people to me that were in finals, not on the podium, that are just, they're threats. They're threats for every event. I would say Hunter Hess is in there. I would say Burke Irving is in there because I do not want to forget Burke Irving's 2023 season, right? Do not forget this. He won it all. Right? He got the cup. So I think he's very much in the mix there too. And then the Canadians are super strong. They've been strong forever, but I think that they're just like 100% knocking on the door. So to me, it's a U.S. and Canada battle. Do you have different thoughts?
I would love to know if Nico's going to be there, which I don't know because I'm not there. But I mean, looking at history, I feel like, so Copper's a flat half pipe, right? So it's, if you can ski fast, you can ski well in Copper. So it's a little bit of a niche half pipe, and Alex Ferreira has been really good there for he's won it, I feel like 3 years in a row. I don't know. Alex always skis well in Copper, so he's going to be my guy. But Goepper looks really good. Dave always skis well in Copper. Okay, maybe not in like the past decade, but traditionally, right? He's skied well in Copper.
So I'm going to pause you for 1 second. So your podium is the China podium. Because
man,
for you,
okay, I just brought people up that
Wise.
Maybe coincidentally, have done well historically, but no, I'm not saying that that's going to be the podium for the rest of eternity. That's not what I'm saying. Also, I want to bring this up. It's going to be Hanna Faulhaber's first event back since she
welcome
did
back.
her knee last year, and I feel like she can ski.
Yeah.
Like literally, she can ski. But she's good. She can ski.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah.
That will be fun to see. Absolutely.
Do you have anything else on Copper, or can I segue?
Yeah, you can segue.
Okay, so
it's coming up. We're going to talk about it anyways.
yeah, I mean, it's the biggest thing. You might have heard, Pete. Sounds like you have heard, and I'm sure everyone has heard at this point that there have been drones spotted terrorizing the night skies, even over the Copper Halfpipe every night. And I mean, I'm just as a citizen, I'm worried about our Olympians, right, and their safety. So I don't know, like if I made up this thing about drones over Copper. I'm sure that I didn't. You know what I mean? Maybe I did. But the point is that people are in real danger, or they could be in real danger.
I agree with you that, but I think like I've seen the news on it too, and we're talking coast to coast.
Coast to coast.
It's coast to coast. But the fact that it's happening like kind of right in the middle where Copper Halfpipe is like
it can't be a coincidence.
Country, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of everywhere. I don't love the thought of like all of these fantastic athletes like having to even think or deal with anything like that.
Yeah, best
I know
in the world.
Here in Montana, where we've experienced like almost nothing, we had the Chinese spy balloon like 3 years ago.
That was fun.
Very, very big deal, but it makes you uneasy when you're below these things.
So what do you think they were looking for in Montana?
I'm not sure.
Maybe they thought the show Yellowstone was real, and they were trying to like get in on the Duttons. I don't know.
That could be a real thing, but I don't like that show, and I think if we start talking about it, I am going to just go off.
Okay, let's move on. So this is what I really want to know, Pete. This is what I need you to explain to me.
I'm here.
Who's behind the drones? Is it people from the future? Is it communists, or is it aliens? Because all I know is that it's one of those three.
Yeah, I would love if it was aliens, but
You're rooting for aliens?
I'm rooting for aliens, but I know what it is because I love
So you're going to break the news right now? Tell the world?
Well, yeah, I blame them for everything anyways. It's communist. It's communist. And not any specific country.
I'm sure you have to be right.
Everywhere, okay?
Yeah. They're literally everywhere behind everything.
Yep.
You can't
escape. And above now, too.
Yeah, you're right. I'm happy that we solved that. But what I would like to do is move on. And maybe we should talk about skiing again.
Valid.
And so I'd like to do this if we actually do more episodes, of course. I'd like to do this each episode where we give our power rankings. And what that means is that we decide who is in power. The top 3 skiers. Probably. So let's look at it this way, right? Like the top 3 skiers right now, if the Olympics were right now. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's what we're doing. So three skiers, each discipline, plus a spoiler that could upset the whole apple cart. And we're going to do slopestyle first. Go. Okay.
My slopestyle power rankings, I'm going to go Colby Stevenson, Tormod Frosted, and Mac Forehand. And my spoiler for that is A-Hall. And we all know why he's the spoiler. He could come out of anywhere. Hit me tier 3.
I'm going to go. I didn't really do my research. Again,
great work.
Website navigation. But my number 1 has to be A-Hall because he's my favorite skier, and I don't care. Like, I just don't care. Like, he's going to be my number 1 until he takes himself off of that list. Number 2, oh boy, I like Tormod Frosted, and I'm sure I'm not pronouncing his name right. The way that I look at it is like, unless you were born in Tennessee, I'm going to pronounce your name wrong. But I think that he's a young kid, right? He's young.
Yeah.
Man, he can just ski. And I feel like he's going to hit. Yeah, I think he's going to hit it at the right time. And then my 3rd is Andre Rigetli. And my spoiler is Mac Forehand. Pete, where am I wrong?
I am not going to say that you're wrong by any means. The only one that I might disagree with is Andre on the podium.
Okay, so I'm not wrong, but you're disagreeing with me. I get it.
Yeah. I just don't want to be mean, But yeah, I don't think you know what you're talking about, and there's no way that he's going to be on the podium at the next Olympics.
See, here's the thing. Andre, the man can compete. And there's been a lot of people that have doubted him in the past. And those people, Pete, they've been wrong.
Yeah.
And he has been on many a podium when he has been counted out. So
I'll give you
how I
that.
feel about it.
He's not top 3 for me. And if I was a betting guy, I would have lost money because I would have bet against him on multiple occasions where he hit the podium.
Yeah. And I'd also like to say that Colby, yeah, I feel that. Colby is probably my number 5. I know Colby doesn't want to be my number 5, but
I don't want him to be your number 5, but you're 5.
And he probably shouldn't be my number 5, but that's where we are. All right, what do you got for ladies?
Ladies, I'm going to go Mathilde Grimond, Tess Ledeux, and Flora Tabanali from Italy is my 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
And my spoiler is going to be Eileen Gu if she competes in slopestyle and big air this year.
There's an if. Well, so you're right, because it's been a minute. I feel like she hasn't skied in slopes since the Olympics, right? Or maybe X Games and Olympics? Whatever.
Yeah.
Point is, for me, I like Tess Ledeux. I like Mathilde Grimond. I took like 2 years of French, so like I pretended like I knew how to like pronounce that for a second.
Oh, it sounded great.
Yeah, right. Flora Tabanelli is going to be my number 3. Man, who? No, I'm sorry. Sarah Hofflin is my number 3, and Tabanelli is my spoiler.
Okay.
Pete, where am I wrong?
Oh, again, not necessarily wrong. I do think Sarah Hofflin is like 100% in the mix. She didn't make the top like 4 for me or my spoiler, but she is always in the mix, and she's been on podiums already this year. China Big Air, she got a 2nd place there. Yeah. So I also think we're pretty aligned in that top 1, 2 there. It's a Tess Mathilde Grimond deal that's going on, and that's how it's trending. Mathilde did that first nose butt, dub 12 in competition, and didn't make the podium in China. She's moving on to big things, so I think that's a very safe pick for that top 3.
I don't like safe picks though, but okay. Well, so you put Eileen Gu on your list. I did not put her on my list, and I'm gonna say I do think she's gonna compete, but I just feel like she's not going to have the same fire as the last Olympics, and I feel like the ladies slope field is way more wide open than ladies halfpipe, and I feel like if she wanted to stay competitive in slope, it's like she should quit halfpipe, or not quit halfpipe, but pause halfpipe and keep skiing slope, and then she could have like gotten back into halfpipe. But I feel like staying in halfpipe and getting out of slope, it's going to be way more difficult to get back into slope. Did what I just said make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I just don't subscribe to that logic because she is super good skier. She is super good, and she is super good at rails. So if she can put together a great rail run, we know she has the airliness if she's comfortable on jumps. I see no issue with her sliding back into slope events. Is she going to win them? No. Outright, no. Is she going to be in the mix? Yes.
Okay. Well, let's do halfpipe.
Let's do halfpipe. You go first on these, please.
Oh, man. Okay.
I know.
Number 1, Nico Porteous. Number 2, Alex Ferreira. Number 3, oh man, Nick Goepper. And my spoiler is, the Korean kid, and I'm going to butcher his name, Sung-Hun Lee. And I chose him because I remember watching him ski in Calgary, and I mean, he's good, and he's young, and he needs a little work in putting his run together. Maybe doesn't always grab super clean, but he is super talented. He goes big. He knows how to spin. I like him. Okay.
It's your pick, so it can be anybody. You don't even have to like them. You know that?
That's true. I could dislike them and still think that they're good.
Yeah, exactly. All right, my halfpipe top 3, I've got Alex Ferreira, Brendan McKay, and Burke Irving. Like I said before, don't forget that Burke has won. It's 2023. It's not that long ago. Does he have the fire? we'll see. Like time will tell. Copper's around the
Brendan
corner.
McCann, American Sandwich, by the way.
Oh yeah, American Sandwich, not to be confused with a Canadian sandwich.
Or
And
Canadian
then
tuxedo.
my spoiler is Hunter Hess. I think he's great. You never know what's
that's a nice
gonna be in
choice.
his back pocket, and he goes like he's been going really, really big too. So he's my spoiler.
Yeah.
I think he would be in the mix. But I also left, as we both did. It's very competitive in that half pipe field, and I think all four of the people that we named on our two separate lists could be completely out of it.
Yep. Yeah, and Hunter, man, like Hunter he might be my favorite half pipe skier to watch. That doesn't mean, right? Like I want him to be on the podium in every event. He's been a little inconsistent. He's been hurt a little bit. So, I mean, I get it. If he stays healthy, yeah, I think you're right. And man, like, yeah, he is super fun to watch. He's something else. And yeah, watch out for Hunter, people.
Everybody.
Prove me wrong, Hunter. You're not on my list. All right, who do you got for ladies?
Ladies.
Or I'm supposed to do ladies half pipe first. No, it's my job.
Oh yeah,
it's my job. Eileen Goo's number 1. Number 2 is Hanna Faulhaber. Number 3. Oh, that's a tough one. That's a competitive spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do Cassie Sharpe for number 3, and then my spoiler is Svea Irving.
Okay.
What are yours?
I am in agreement with Eileen at the top. I have...
Shocker.
I've been going back and forth on this one, and I think I am going to make this change, but I'm going to go Rachel Karker, number 2.
Okay.
I'm going to go Zhang Kexon in number 3, and my spoiler is going to be Cassie.
Okay.
Yep. Now, tell me where I'm wrong on that one.
So I think you're wrong in leaving off Hanna. She has been hurt, for sure, all last year. But to me, Hanna is a skier like Torin, where like when Torin was a half-pipe skier. I guess like Torin still is, right? Torin's still alive.
Yeah.
Where like when she drops in, like the whole field is like, what's she going to do? You know what I mean? Like she just has that thing where it's like she can just completely go off at any moment and go twice as big as the entire field, right? Like do her whole run, and it's just, completely blows things out of the water. And when she was healthy, to me, she was easily the biggest competition for Eileen. She's got, for sure, like she's got some work to do to come back. Like, she's been out with a knee injury. Like I don't anticipate that she's gonna like win copper, right? But I think that I think leaving her off the list, Pete, is a huge mistake on your part. And I think you're wrong. But Hannah's gonna prove you wrong. I don't need to. Hanna will.
I'm okay to hear that, and I think you're right that I might be wrong. But also, I'm not changing my list. So if you're asking me to change it, that's not happening. But I appreciate the backstory on it too, because like I know she's been in the mix and been in there, and maybe I left her off because of injury, right? Because we don't know how it's going to come back, and these are our supposed power rankings. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I like it. All right, Pete. Well, I mean, I feel like that was a podcast, right? I think we can officially now say that we did a podcast.
Yeah, I think so. And if anybody tuned in, thanks for tuning in. And if you want us to talk about something different or not talk about stuff, let us know.
Or just not talk about anything at all. If you want this to be our last one that we ever do because it was that bad, let us know.
We will take that feedback, and also feel free to fact check us because we think we know what we're talking about, but we're not 100% sure.
Yeah, we know that we can't pronounce names though, so you can for sure help us out on that. That's something that's just going to be bad.
Absolutely. But Andy, it's been a pleasure, and we should do it again soon.
Yeah, let's do that. How about after copper? What do you say?
Oh, that sounds nice.
All right, that sounds real nice. All right, bye, Pete.
Perfect.
It's been nice.
See ya.